Good morning, children. This is lecture 2 of the chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. Before this, I have sent you one video, lecture 1 of Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. I think you have gone through that video and that video is clear to you. Here in this lecture, I am going to talk about different methods of separation of mixtures. This is the recapitulation of previous lesson, what we have learned in the previous lesson, definitions of matters, elements, compounds and mixtures, classification of matter, properties of metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases, properties of elements, compounds and mixture with examples, categorization of mixture, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture, definition, properties and example of homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture, suspension and emulsion. Now let us start with what is separation of mixture. All of you know that the mixtures are made up of two or more components mixed in any ratio. The separation of mixture is the process of separating one or more constituent components of the mixture. Separation process comprises sequencing of one or more physical processes based on the properties of the components and desired separation efficiency. For the separation of different mixtures, different techniques can be used. The common separation process in our daily life, where we have to separate the things in our daily life, that is separation of stones from grains, separation of tea from soaked tea leaves, separation of salt from salt solution. All these are the common example that every day we have to separate all these things and we are using some or the other method. Why need separation? First is that to obtain useful substance from the mixture, to separate impurities from pure substance, and to separate different useful substance from the mixture step by step. Now, as I told you, there are a number of methods that can be used to separate components of the mixture depending upon the properties of the component. Now, in this table, the different methods of separation given for different types of mixture. For example, to separate solid-solid mixture, we can use the method hand picking, sieving, winnowing, magnetic separation, sublimation. All these things, all these methods can be used for separating solid-solid mixture. Similarly, for solid-liquid mixture, we can use evaporation, crystallization, filtration, sedimentation, decantation. All these methods can be used for solid-liquid separation. So that is depending upon the nature of the particles, constituent particles, nature of the type of the mixture, which method will be applicable, that we have to see. So please go through this table once. You will get all the things together, the methods and the type of the mixture, which methods is applicable for which type of mixture is given in this table. Now from this slide, I will explain the methods of separation one by one. First is hand picking. You all are very much familiar with some of the separation technique given: hand picking, winnowing, magnetic separation, sieving, all these things you have learned in the previous class. You can take this as the recapitulation of the lesson already you have learned. Handpicking is used to separate solid-solid mixture. Principle based, that is visual examination of size, shape, color, etc. What is the process? When the components of a mixture greatly vary in shape, size, color, etc. and when the mixture to be handled is less in quantity. Suppose you have to separate stone from grains. There is a very less amount of the stones are present in grains and the color is also different, size is also different. So you can separate those stones by the method of hand picking. The components may be separated through visual examination. You can see that its color is different, the size is different. It is not the grain, it is stone. So you can just pick that stone with your hands and you can throw them out. This is the method hand picking. Now next is coming sieving. This is also used to separate solid-solid mixture. The principle based on the difference in sizes of the component particles of the mixture. What is the process? The process, the large sized particles are separated from the smaller or finer particles by passing the mixture through a sieve, a device containing tiny holes. Sieve is having tiny holes. The smaller particles pass through the sieve and the larger particles are left above the sieve. For example, removing impurities like husk and stone from flour. You all know the method of sieving. Winnowing. It is also used for separating solid-solid mixture. What is the principle? It is based on the difference in weight of the particle in a mixture. A mixture is allowed to fall from a height. You can see the picture. The mixture is allowed to fall from a height against the direction of the wind. That is very, very important. Against the direction of the wind. The lighter particles are blown away by the wind and the heavier particle falls down and get collected. You can see the picture here. The lighter particle, this is the lighter particle, is blown away by the wind. And this is the heavier particle. This is your heavier particle. Heavier particle fall down and get collected. When we are using a mixture such as grains and husks can be separated by using this method. Now, magnetic separation. This magnetic separation is used to separate solid-solid as well as solid-liquid mixture. It is based on the principle that one of the components should have magnetic property. That means it should attract to the magnet. The different types of magnets are shown here in this picture. Process: a magnet is appropriately used to separate the magnetic component from the non-magnetic one. You can see the diagram here. Now this is a mixture of iron and sulfur taken in a bowl. Now one magnet, this magnet is known as horseshoe magnet. Horseshoe magnet. The horseshoe magnet is brought near the mixture and as we are just taking the magnet over this mixture, then the magnetic parts, that is the magnetic component, that is iron, will be attracted towards the magnet and sulfur will be left in the bowl. Okay. Now this is one experiment given, the process of separating mixture of sand and iron filings. Iron is having a property that magnet can attract iron. There is a mixture taken in a bowl, sand and iron filings. Now bring one magnet and hover a magnet over the surface of the mixture. The magnet attracts the iron filings, leaving the sand in the trough. And in this way, you can separate iron filings and sand. Now, this is the method sublimation. Sublimation is also a method to separate a solid-solid mixture. What is the principle? The principle is that one of the component should be a sublime substance. Now you know what is a sublime substance. A sublime substance is that when a solid on heating, it is directly changing to gas, and gas on cooling, it is directly changing to solid. Ammonium chloride is one of the sublime substance. Now another example of sublime substance, iodine, camphor, naphthalene, all these are the sublime substance. Now what actually we are doing, what is the process? Now when one of the component in a solid-solid mixture is sublime in nature, it may be separated from the other through controlled heating. What we are doing, this is a china dish. We are taking the mixture in this china dish and from below we are heating it. Now one inverted funnel is kept here and there is a wet cotton plug. Now when we are heating it, then the ammonium chloride, as it is a sublime substance, we have taken the mixture of ammonium chloride and salt in this china dish. Now when we are heating, ammonium chloride being a sublime substance, the vapor of ammonium chloride will come out. Now as the vapor will come out and it is coming here, it is getting the cooler sensation here, and because of that it changes to, it condensed and the vapor will be condensed, and again we are getting the solid ammonium chloride is collected over here. Now and the salt will remain in the china dish. See what is written in the process. When one of the component in a solid-solid mixture is sublime in nature, it may be separated from the other through controlled heating. The sublime component gets directly vaporized and may be collected back by cooling the vapor. Example, separation of iodine from sand, separation of ammonium chloride and salt. This already ammonium chloride and salt I have explained to you. And now this is the activity to separate mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. This already I have explained in the last slide. Please go through this and everything will be clear to you. You can see how you have to write first aim, then procedure, then conclusions, and the diagram also. Please go through this and it will be clear to you. Froth flotation. This is a new method that you are learning today. This method is used for solid liquid mixture for obtaining selective flotation of desired component. This method basically used for mineral beneficiation. What is that? I'll explain to it afterwards. Let me first tell you the principle. The principle of this froth flotation, different solids have different weighting characteristic with reference to a particular solvent. I'm explaining that. What is that? Components having higher weighting property tends to settle at the bottom. Listen to me very carefully what I'm saying. Different solids have different weighting characteristics with reference to a particular solvent. This weighting is not always done by water. This weighting can be done with a particular solvent. Now the components having higher weighting property tends to settle at the bottom because it will become heavy. Components which weight less are made to float in the form of froth through appropriate selection of solvent and vigorous aeration. Aeration means agitation. The froth is skimmed to collect the desired component. Now, in the next slide, I am explaining what is that. Now, see the process. The process froth flotation is used for the mineral beneficiation that already I told you. Actually, the mineral are obtained from its ore mixed with some impurities. Those impurities are known as gangue. This froth flotation is generally used to collect the mineral, or you can say metal minerals, from its sulfide ore. Now you can get the metal, that is the minerals, from its ore. Different types of ore are available. Sometimes oxide ore, then sulfide ore. So many types of ore that is available. From those ore we are getting the minerals. So froth flotation is one of the way for mineral beneficiation. First what we are doing, a solvent is selected. Generally for beneficiating metal minerals from its sulfide ore, because we are talking about, see here, the metal minerals from its sulfidic ore, we are using the solvent. It is not only water, it is water, sodium or potassium xanthate. What is sodium and potassium xanthate? The formula of sodium or potassium xanthate is Na. This is sodium xanthate. Na, sodium or potassium, actually the name is sodium ethyl xanthate or potassium ethyl xanthate. So it is sodium NaC3H5OS2. This is sodium xanthate, sodium ethyl xanthate, and potassium xanthate is KC3H5OS2. This is potassium xanthate. And pine oil. So what is my solvent? My solvent is water, sodium or potassium ethyl xanthate and pine oil. You can write here ethyl xanthate. Let me write it here. Ethyl xanthate and pine oil. So what we are doing, we are taking this solvent, is selected. This solvent is generally for beneficiation of your metal minerals from sulfide ore. We are taking a solvent. That solvent comprises of water, sodium or potassium ethyl xanthate and pine oil, which weight the gangue more than the metal minerals and make the gangue heavy and it settle down. Now, after the gangue settling down, the compressed air is passed through the mineral and the solvent, which form froth and floats on the surface. This froth is basically a mixture of mineral, air and pine oil. This froth that we are getting, that is basically a mixture of mineral, air and pine oil. When we are getting the froth, after that it's skimmed out to separate the metal mineral from gangue. I think you have understood. What happened? See, suppose this is the ore. In that ore, these are the minerals. Suppose these are the gangue, and these are the minerals. They are mixed in this way. These are the minerals. Okay. Now first we are just putting some pressure and all. We are just mixing them, making them powder. Now they are forming in this way. Maybe they are in this way. They formed. Now from here we are giving solvent. Now that solvent wet the gangue like this. They're making like this, wet the gangue. They are wetting the gangue. Okay, so they were settling down, and this minerals less weight. Okay, so this will settle down, and they are mixed with that pine oil. Now the air is passed. As the air will pass, they will make a froth, and that will float. See here, these are the froth. That will float, and in that froth, the minerals are also there. Basically, I told you minerals, pine oil, and air. And then we are taking it out, skimmed out. I think now it is clear to you. Now the process of filtration. The process of filtration is used to separate fine solid from liquid mixture. It is based on the size of the solids in liquid. The solid and liquid are allowed to pass through a porous barrier whose pores are smaller than the solid particle. For this, what actually we are doing? We are filtering the mixture through a filter paper. In the laboratory, we are using filter paper. So we are filtering the mixture with the filter paper. In this, the liquid will pass through the filter paper, but the solid particles will arrest it in the filter paper, above the filter paper. In our home, every day we are using sieve to filter the tea from soaked tea leaves. That is also a process of filtration. For this, when we are filtering, the solid particles will remain in the filter paper because the pores of the porous barrier is smaller than the solid particles. The solid particle will remain in the filter paper and the liquid part will pass through the filter paper. And in this way we can filter the sand and the water mixture. Next is sedimentation and decantation. Solid liquid. Forgetting the liquid and solid both. When the solid is heavier than the liquid, it settles at the bottom on allowing the mixture to settle for some time. And you will not disturb that solution. What is the process? The solid and the liquid mixture is allowed to settle for some time without any disturbance. heavier solid particles will settle down at the bottom, and this is called sedimentation. And what will happen? The majority of the liquid will be above, and this liquid is known as supernatant liquid. Supernatant liquid, and this can be transferred without disturbing. Okay, so we are getting the liquid in one beaker and the solid will remain in the other beaker. The solid particles at the bottom may be separated from the liquid through simple filtration. Now, if any traces of liquid is present, we can separate it through filtration. Example, the fine sand and water mixture. Children, all these diagrams are important. This method is distillation. Distillation method is used to separate a solid liquid homogeneous solution. Now, from a homogeneous solution of solid liquid, if you want to get solid and liquid, we are using distillation method. Sometimes to get a pure liquid also, we are using the distillation method. We are getting the pure liquid from an impure liquid by the method of distillation. This method is based on the principle on the evaporation of the liquid through boiling and then again condensation of the vapor to retrieve the liquid. See, this is the diagram given for distillation method. Suppose we want to make distilled water from an impure water. So that impure water is taken in this round bottom flask. As you know that the pure water will boil at 100 degrees centigrade, this round bottom flask is fixed with a thermometer and it is also fixed with a Liebig condenser. Now, as the thermometer, we are heating it from here. As the thermometer will reach to 100 degrees centigrade, the vapor of the water will start coming out. Now, as the vapor will come out, it will come from this path and it will enter from here, from this path, and this is a Liebig condenser. So, here the vapor of the water will get cooled and it will change into, the vapor will change into liquid form and the pure water will be collected in this beaker. That pure water which will be collected in this beaker, which is known as distillate, that will be free from any impurities. That is the distilled water. This is the method of distillation. To obtain distilled water from impure water, we are using the method of distillation. See the process. The solution comprising the liquid and the solute is heated. When the temperature reaches the boiling point of the liquid, it starts getting evaporated. The vapors are condensed to get back the liquid. This process is called distillation. Next is fractional distillation. Now, fractional distillation is used to separate liquid-liquid homogeneous mixture. This is also based on the principle of the boiling points, difference in boiling points of the component. If the boiling points of the components are reasonably apart in a homogeneous mixture of two liquids, that means the boiling point of the two liquids are different. They are reasonably apart. Suppose we want to separate the mixture of alcohol and water. Now the boiling point of alcohol is 80 degrees centigrade and boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. So they are having a the boiling point is reasonably apart. They may be distilled sequentially one after another by slowly rising the temperature. What we are doing, we are taking the mixture in the round bottom flask and then we are heating it. As the thermometer will show you 80 degrees centigrade, suppose we are separating the mixture of alcohol and water. So we have taken the mixture alcohol and water in the round bottom flask and we are heating it. As the temperature will reach to 80 degrees centigrade, the vapor will come out and you know that it is the vapor of alcohol. Now it will come out first and it will condense first and it will change, the vapor will change into liquid and that liquid will collect in a beaker. That will be alcohol, and as soon as you will see that the temperature will start rising, you will remove the heat and the water you will get in the round bottom flask. Now you can separate two liquids. See what is the process routine here. The temperature of the solution comprising two miscible liquid. Now please remember this, these two miscible liquids. We are separating, fractional distillation is using for separating two miscible liquids. With different boiling point is slowly raised. The temperature of the solution comprising two miscible liquids with different boiling point is slowly raised. When the temperature nears the boiling point of the first component, it slowly starts boiling off. The vapors are condensed and the component is retrieved. The second component is left behind. If there are three components, the second component is retrieved in the same manner after the first component is fully retrieved. Am I clear to you? For example, obtaining different fractions of crude oil such as petrol, kerosene, diesel and other products from the crude oil. We are using fractional distillation. Now this slide is showing you the figure of fractional distillation of water ethanol mixture. In this figure, we have used one new thing, that is fractionating column, to separate the water ethanol mixture. And this diagram, please practice this diagram. These diagrams are important. In this slide, I will tell you about the liquid-liquid separation when they are immiscible in nature. For this, we are using separating funnel. In the previous slide, I told you about the liquid-liquid separation, but they are miscible in nature. Now here in this slide, the liquid-liquid separation when they are immiscible in nature. Now for this, the principle is the difference in densities of the two or more immiscible liquid. For this, what actually we are doing? We are taking the mixture of the liquids which are immiscible in nature, but the densities are different. We are taking the mixture in a separating funnel. And as their densities are different, there will be a clear phase separation. That means what? As their densities are different, there will be a clear difference of the layer will be visible. the denser layer will be the lower part of the liquid and the upper part of the liquid will be the lighter one. Now allow this separating funnel, allow it to stand for some time. After that, when you will see a clear phase separation like here it is seen, open the tap and allow the lower liquid of the lower layer to fall. When the conical flask will be filled with the liquid of the lower layer, close the stopcock and the liquid of the upper layer will remain in the separating funnel. Like that, you can separate 2 or more immiscible liquid with the help of separating funnel. You can take out the liquid one by one. The example is separation of the mixture of kerosene oil and water. Crystallization. Crystallization is a method to separate a solid liquid solution for obtaining pure solid. To obtain pure solid, we are using the method that is crystallization. The principle is crystallization of the solid component through saturation. You know about the saturated solution. You know about supersaturated solution. All these things you have read in standard 6-7 classes. Now what is the process? A solution comprising a dissolved solid is slowly heated. Dissolved solid is slowly heated to evaporate out the solvent. You are taking the solution, that is the solution, copper sulfate solution. You are taking it in a china dish. See the figure. You are taking the copper sulfate solution in a china dish. Now allow the water to evaporate by heating. As the water will evaporate, the solution become supersaturated. Now the crystals of the dissolved solid slowly separate out as crystals. Crystals of what? Here in this case, the crystals of copper sulfate. It will slowly separate out as crystal, but for that you have to make a supersaturated solution by evaporating the excess of water. This process is known as crystallization. This process may be used for removing the impurities present in a substance. If you do this method, you can get the pure crystals, pure thing, pure crystals, pure substance. On controlled evaporation, only the desired substance crystallizes out and the impurities are left behind. Example, obtaining pure copper sulfate from impure one. Purifying sugar, we are using crystallization to purify sugar to get the pure copper sulfate crystals. For that, what you have to do, you have to take the solution in a china dish and heat it to evaporate the water, make a supersaturated solution, allow it to stand for some time, the crystals of copper sulfate will come out. Now evaporation, you are very much familiar with this term, evaporation. Evaporation is used to separate solid liquid for obtaining the solid component. You will not get the liquid component through evaporation. For that, you have to do distillation process. I told you that distillation process. Now, this evaporation is based on the evaporation of the liquid through boiling. The process, the solution comprising the solid and the liquid, is taken in a china dish. See the figure, it is taken in a china dish, suppose salt water solution. But salt water solution you are taking and you are boiling it, allow the water to evaporate, you are getting only the salt, but you will not get the liquid, that is water you will not get. But if you will go for distillation, then you will get the water also, you will get the salt also. When the temperature nears the boiling point of the liquid, it starts evaporating fast. When the entire liquid evaporates, the solid is left behind. And this process is known as evaporation. Evaporation. Example, obtaining salt from salt solution. Again, I am repeating, children, all the diagrams are important. Please practice all the diagrams and the label diagram. Chromatographic separation. Now, this chromatographic separation is not given in your book, but in exercise, one question is given. And I think that chromatographic separation is an important separation technique. And so I am explaining it here. And you also please read it. Now, chromatographic separation is used to separate liquid-liquid miscible mixture and gas-liquid mixture. The principle behind it is the different liquids, that is the components, get adsorbed into a substrate, that is stationary phase, with different strength. Also, they have different solubility in a particular solvent, which is known as mobile phase. So, two phases are acting here. One is stationary phase, another is mobile phase. What are these things? What is their action? I am explaining it to you. Before that, let me read this once. When the mobile phase is brought in contact with the stationary phase, these components move with different velocity. These things are important. What is the process? The component of the solution are absorbed over the stationary phase. The stationary phase is brought in contact with mobile phase. Different components move at different speed and are separated. Now, this process is greatly used as an analytical technique. Separation of various colors in the ink is done by chromatographic separation. This is an example of paper chromatography. Now, if you know the paper chromatography, that will be enough for you. And I'll explain this chromatographic separation with respect to paper chromatography. For that, what actually happening? Please listen to me carefully. There are, as I told you, in chromatographic separation, there are two phases. One is stationary phase, another is mobile phase. Now, for paper chromatography, let us take the stationary phase as the filter paper. This is your stationary phase. Suppose this is the filter paper. The stationary phase is filter paper. A filter paper is having cellulose, so it can absorb the particles. Suppose I want to separate the colors in the ink. Let us take only two colors, that is red and blue. Here I am taking the components, that is the red and the blue color, as A and B. There are two components in the ink, A and B. Drop one drop of ink you take and just put it in the filter paper. Just pour it in the filter paper. So as we are having two components A and B, the filter paper will adsorb A and B. Now it is adsorb, A-D, adsorb. Adsorb means it is a surface phenomenon. The adsorption will be done in the surface only. The filter paper, that is a stationary phase, will adsorb A and B, but this adsorption will be in different strength. The adsorption of A and B by the filter paper will be in different manner. Now, suppose this is A component and this is your B component. So what I said, the adsorption of A by stationary phase is not same as the adsorption of B by stationary phase. Now stationary phase means filter paper. Stationary phase means filter paper. The adsorption is not same. Okay. Now I am passing a mobile phase. Now for this paper chromatography, for this separation of colors in the ink, the mobile phase that we are passing through this is a mixture of, this is your mobile phase. Mobile phase means which can move. This is a mixture of water and alcohol. In the next slide, you can see that. We are taking the mobile phase as water and alcohol. Now allow to pass this mobile phase through this stationary phase. So it will go from here, the mobile phase. Now the mobile phase will absorb, now it is absorb AB, absorb the component A and B from the filter paper. But the absorption again, the absorption of A by mobile phase is not equal to the absorption of B by the mobile phase. Now it is depending upon this factor also, how the bonding of A and B with the filter paper. So the absorption of A by the mobile phase is not equal to the absorption of B by the mobile phase. Okay. Now suppose the mobile phase can absorb A faster, in a faster rate than the B. That means A is being absorbed by the mobile phase faster than B. So when the mobile phase is coming out from this filter paper, the first it will carry A with it and it will move here with A. So after some times you may get two spots, one here and you may get another spot here. As it is taking the A first, A is your red one. A is your red one. It will take A first. So the mobile face will carry A with it first. So I am getting a red spot here. And after that, it will take this B part, that is blue color, with it. So the absorption of blue is afterwards. The mobile face will take the blue. Blue will come after A. So I'm getting blue spot here. And this is known as paper chromatography. This is the action of the mobile phase and this is the action of the stationary phase. First stationary phase will adsorb A and B. It is a surface phenomenon, and then mobile phase will pass through that and it will take out the A and B with it. Now which one will come first? That will move with the mobile phase faster, and then we are getting it will move with a different velocity, different speed, and we will get the colors will be separated and we are getting the different spots. I think it is clear to you. See this slide. Separation and identification of red and blue ink using the paper chromatography. Read it, what it is said. This is a filter paper. Now in that filter paper, take a pencil spot. Now in that spot, put the ink solution. Okay, now take a beaker which contain the solvent. That solvent is alcohol water mixture. Just put it here. Now there is a hook. With the hook, just this will hang that filter paper. Hang it in that way so that this ink drop should not touch the solvent. But the lower portion of the filter paper should dip into the solvent. But that ink drop will not touch the solvent. Now after some times, as the filter paper will soak the liquid. Now liquid is here, the solvent here is the mobile phase and the filter paper is the stationary phase. This is your stationary phase, I am writing with S, and this is your mobile phase, I am writing with M. Now that mobile phase, as the ink drop is here, this ink drop is containing two colors, that is, I said red and blue. So red and blue, R and B, both are there. So adsorption of red color and the blue color in the filter paper, this adsorption will be different. Now the mobile phase will come here. The filter paper will soak the solvent and the solvent will start flowing from here. As it will go from here, it will dissolve red and the blue color. It will absorb red and the blue color. This will be B. It will absorb red and the blue color, but in a different extent. Okay, the absorption of the two color in the ink will be different. Suppose it is absorbing the red color faster than blue color. So when it will go up, when it will go up, it will take red color with it first. So maybe here you will get a drop and here you will get a drop. Now this color, this one, the red is coming faster. So this color, this will be the red color. This drop is for red and this is your blue color. It is going afterwards. So this color, this drop will be for blue color. Am I clear to you? Have you understood what I want to say? Now just go through it, read it. I think it will be clear to you. Now here is a flow chart showing separation of components in iodine, ammonium chloride and sand mixture. This is known as flow chart. This can come in the exam, this type of thing. How we can separate a mixture of, the example will be given to you. See how it is written, iodine plus ammonium chloride plus sand. You need not to write the full elaborate explanation. Only you can write through this type of flow chart. First what you have done, dissolution of ammonium chloride in water followed by filtration. Now as you will mix water with this one, as you will mix water with this one, this ammonium chloride only will get dissolved in water. So we are getting two things. One is residue, another is filtrate. In the filtrate, what it is getting dissolved? Ammonium chloride. So solution of ammonium chloride in the filtrate. And in the residue, that is iodine and sand, because we are dissolving in water plus we are doing the filtration. Two things we have written together, dissolution and filtration. Dissolution in water and filtration, you see properly. So two things we have done, as we have dissolved the salt into water and filtered it. So we are getting two things, residue part and the filtrate part. In the residue part we are getting iodine and sand, and the filtrate part we are getting ammonium chloride solution. Now this one will evaporate. As we will evaporate, the water will evaporate and we are getting, in the residue we are getting only ammonium chloride. So we are separating ammonium chloride. Now in the residue part, what we are doing, as iodine is a sublime substance, we will do sublimation of this too. Now as iodine is a sublime substance, residue that we are getting sand and the sublimate that we are getting iodine. So like this, the flow chart of the separation of the mixture. So you may get this type of writing of flow charts. Simple one will be given to you in the exam and you have to write only the flow chart, not the elaborate process. Please take 2-3 examples and practice it at home. Now see, this is another experiment to separate kerosene and water. As you know that kerosene and water, two immiscible liquid. So naturally we have to use separating funnel. Now what is the aim? Like this you have to write, to separate immiscible liquid, that is kerosene, oil and water. Materials required. What are the materials required? That is written here. Now what is the procedure? Pour kerosene, oil and water in the conical flask. Mix both liquids by shaking the conical flask vigorously. Use the clamp to attach the separating funnel to a retort stand. Ensure that the separating funnel is in the closed position and pour the mixture of the kerosene, oil and water. Allow the mixture to settle for a few minutes. To observe two layers, as upper layer is lighter, so it will be kerosene oil, and the lower layer will be water. having higher density. Kerosene oil here is the lighter one, so having the lower density. This is kerosene oil and this is water having the higher density. Now place a beaker under the mouth of the separating funnel and open the stopcock. Allow the lower layer of water to run off in the beaker slowly. What is the observation? The lower layer of water comes out first and the upper layer of the kerosene oil is collected in the separate beaker. Now in this way you may get how will you separate a mixture of mercury, water and kerosene oil. I have given you three mixture. Mercury, water, kerosene oil. So if the three mixtures are there, you mix this three mixture, this will make an immiscible one. Now mercury is the heaviest one. The density is, this is the heaviest one. So mercury will take the lower level and then water and then kerosene oil. And then open the stopcock. First allow mercury to fall and then close it. Remove that beaker. Place another beaker. Then again you open. Collect water in the second beaker. And kerosene oil will remain in the separating funnel. This already I have given you separation of components in salt and ammonium chloride mixture. This will be done by the sublimation method. This already I have given in the 4th or the 5th slide. How to separate? Just go through it. The sublimation method, I have explained this method to you and you have to write it in this way. Now this is the separation of components in CaCO3 and NaCl mixture. Now both CaCO3 and NaCl are solid. What we have to do for the separation of CaCO3 and NaCl, we have to add water to it. Now CaCO3 is not dissolved in water, but NaCl will get dissolved in water. After dissolving NaCl in water, we have to filter the mixture. Now CaCO3 will remain in the filter paper and the liquid will pass through the filter paper which contain NaCl. The liquid that is collected in the beaker after filtration, evaporate it. The liquid will evaporate, the water will evaporate and the crystal of sodium will be separate out and CaCO3 will remain in the filter paper. Now this slide is showing that ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation. You all know that ammonium chloride is a sublime substance. To prove that ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation, take ammonium chloride in a china dish and set up the apparatus as per the separation method of sublimation. There is an inverted funnel and a wet cotton plug is placed. Now heat the ammonium chloride taken in a china dish with the help of a burner. As you will heat ammonium chloride, as ammonium chloride is a sublime substance, the vapor of ammonium chloride will come out. Now this will be ammonium chloride. The vapor of ammonium chloride will come out from here and now the vapor will go from here it will come in contact with the cotton plug, wet cotton plug, and the vapor of ammonium chloride will change to solid ammonium chloride. And this proves that ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation. It is a sublime substance.